Hi, my name is Mark Haver from the United States, and I'm a proud member of YPAC because I firmly believe in youth engagement and ocean issue priorities. I once heard the First Lady of Palau say that we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children.
I'm Marina from Brazil, and I'm a proud member of the Sustainable Ocean Alliance Youth Policy Advisory Council because I believe that youth has the power to shape the future by setting ambitious goals and working hard to achieve them.
Hello, I'm Paulina Wito from Kenya. I am part of the Youth Policy Advisory Council as a regional representative for Africa. I am proud to be a member of YPAC, and I am here to ensure that youth voices are incorporated in decision making processes at all levels as a good practice for youth participation, inclusion, and democracy. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leonie, and I am part of the Youth Policy Advisory Council. The reason that I decided to take part in this great initiative is because I feel that youth voices have not been heard enough at the policymaking table.
Hi, I'm Rocky Guzman from the Philippines, and I'm a proud member of the YPAC because we get to amplify the youth's voices in response to pressing issues our oceans are facing.
Hello, Monaco Oceans Week. I am so excited to be able to introduce Sustainable Ocean Alliance's Youth Policy Advisory Council to you all. But first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mark Haver, and I'm the inaugural chair of our council. I'm originally from Ellicott City, Maryland, in the United States. And my passion behind climate action actually comes from a natural disaster in my hometown. In both 2016 and 2018, my hometown experienced devastating flash floods that were climate related. After watching my downtown, my hometown, be wrecked by these floods, I knew that I had to engage myself on the federal and international policy space to ensure that we can protect our communities from any other climate impacts that may happen in the future and to preserve nature for future generations. As a 22-year-old, I understand that I bring a fresh perspective to how we can approach our relationship with our planet. And I strongly believe that youth engagement, particularly in the environmental, ocean, and climate space, is critical to be able to include these stakeholders in the state of our environment and their direct advocacy for policy change. As far as the Youth Policy Advisory Council, I'm so passionate about serving as the inaugural chair because the issues facing the health of our planet are also an issue of generational justice. Not only do we hope to elevate the need for ocean and climate action, but through the Youth Policy Advisory Council, we hope to identify solutions for tomorrow through policy and build a bench of dedicated, intelligent ocean leaders who can posit a larger reformation of humanity's relationship with our natural resources. I am so excited for you all to be introduced to the Youth Policy Advisory Council, and I look forward to connecting with each of you on these policy campaigns.
Thank you very much for the great introduction, Mark. My name is Marina. I hold a master's degree in environmental and natural resource economics, and I'm passionate about environmental and ocean issues. I believe that complex problems demand complex solutions, and I love to work with multi-stakeholder approaches to policymaking and sustainable business development. I am also the current co-chair of YPAC, working mainly in developing our Blue New Deal campaign. But what is this Blue New Deal? The concept of a global Blue New Deal evolved after the novelty of the creation of a Green New Deal proposed by US Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Ed Markey. The Green New Deal addressed the climate crisis through an intersectional and comprehensive policy approach, but however, it only mentioned the climate's single largest mitigator, the ocean, once. Then in 2018, global leaders were surveyed to understand which of the UN Sustainable Development Goals were being prioritized or not. And the SDG 14, that is life underwater, was the one marked as prioritized the least. Even though SDG 14 may be the least popular, commitments made to conserve and protect our oceans will contribute positively to other SDGs, including SDG 2 on zero hunger, SDG 12 on responsible consumption and production, and most significantly, SDG 13 on climate action. As youth, We need not only to be proactive in advocating for the SDGs, but also to hold the global community accountable to the commitments they have made between each other and to youth. The United Nations also recognized the lack of priority in addressing the state of our ocean and has declared 2020 to 2030 a decade of ocean science for sustainable development. Sustainable Ocean Alliance and its ocean leaders call together global ocean stakeholders behind a common framework to deliver the ocean we need for the future we want. We echo this sentiment in our Blue Vision to outline a policy framework that integrates crowdsourced youth ocean priorities that can and will be proposed to government on international, national, and local scales for implementation. So not only does this ocean policy framework emphasize youth ocean issue priorities, but it continues the conversation on how the fundamental relationships between our communities and our planet need to be re-envisioned for the generations to come. Now I would like to quickly run you through the process of drafting our Blue New Deal. So between 2019 and 2020, SOA distributed Blue New Deal surveys, and we have received more than 100 responses from 38 countries in 5 different languages. And the Youth Policy Advisory Council then synthesized these responses last year, and we identified 4 pillars to organize these key ocean issue areas that were addressed in the survey responses. These pillars are growing and maintaining healthy protected areas to preserve biodiversity, strengthening sustainable fisheries value chain, shifting carbon-intensive industries to a low-carbon future, and bolstering stakeholder engagement in management of natural ocean resources. So each of our pillars have also sub-pillars. And while we are currently collecting research to inform our positions on each of the pillars and sub-pillars, I can already tell you that some of the prospective sub-pillars include promoting clean ocean energy, expanding a global network of marine protected areas, and promoting a circular economy. And as we do our research, not only we are trying to inform ourselves generally of the most innovative approaches to each of these ocean issues, but we are also evaluating each pillar through an analysis of international agreements and international funding priorities that are currently going on in the world. However, research can only take us so far. So to inform ourselves more deeply about the most cutting-edge solutions in each of these ocean issue areas, we are in the process of coordinating workshops with thought leaders and experts. So this will allow us to refine our first draft of the Blue New Deal ahead of World Oceans Day, happening this year on the 8th of June. So we plan to host a workshop in partnership with Friends of the World Oceans Day to overview the concept behind the Blue New Deal and introduce the first public comment period on our draft. So while this event is youth organized, it is designed to introduce youth priorities to the world. Following World Oceans Day, the Youth Policy Advisory Council will synthesize the comments from the workshop ahead of a second larger global public comment period on our Blue New Deal. Exciting! And we will identify organizational partners such as trusted NGO leaders, UN Decade affiliates, and the UN Major Group for Youth and Children to circulate the Blue New Deal with them. And of course, ask them to provide comments of their own in our draft. And given SOA's extensive network of ocean leader, hubs, microgrants, and startups, we hope to build strategic coalitions with other organizational partners on a regional or country-specific basis. Once public comments have been taken into consideration, the final Blue New Deal will be released, and we hope each of these coalitions will pressure governments to recognize the Blue New Deal and address the youth ocean priorities most relevant to each country. With the climate crisis rapidly developing into an environmental catastrophe of unprecedented scope and scale, and the COVID-19 crisis reminding us all of the power of the natural world, we must reflect on humanity's relationship with the environment and seek a comprehensive reform. So, as we recover from the pandemic, the Blue New Deal serves as a unique opportunity to outline how ocean, human, climate, and economic health can sustainably be balanced so that future generations may appreciate greater equity. So, I hope that together we can build the ocean we need for the future we want.
Thank you for introducing our Blue New Deal campaign, Marina. My name is Alana Smith, and I am introducing our seabed mining policy campaign. And I work for a non-government environmental organisation called the Ipukaria Society. Living in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, we Pacific Islanders, from our ancestors to present, heavily rely on our ocean and our day-to-day livelihoods. Because of this, I have a strong passion for ocean conservation and awareness raising. What's the seabed mining issue? The ocean supports life on Earth. A lot of its functions are threatened by deep sea mining. Deep sea mining is an extractive industry that targets seamounts for cobalt-rich crust, hydrothermal vents for seafloor massive sulfides, and the abyssal plains for polymetallic nodules. It's not a coincidence that the environments which contain these metal sources are also home to a number of unique and understudied species. These species often rely on these metal sources. Deep sea mining in these vulnerable ecosystems would harm those species and the wider ecosystem, possibly up to 100 kilometers away. The industry is shrouded by uncertainty, economic uncertainty, and uncertainties surrounding potential environmental impacts. On top of the already existing gaps in our current knowledge and understanding of the deep sea, the risk of proceeding with this extractive industry is too great. The industry and regulators have a responsibility to get the free, prior, and informed consent of all, especially those Indigenous communities who rely on the ocean for their livelihoods. The Sustainable Ocean Alliance seabed mining position, SOA representing the largest global network of young ocean leaders, calls for a moratorium on deep seabed mining for at least 10 years, in line with the UN Decade of Ocean Science, which enables global communities to 1. Undertake scientific research to better understand the unique deep sea biodiversity, the seabed's role in carbon storage, and the larger climate system, the potential impacts of mining, and the risks to deep sea species and ecosystems, the potential for mitigation and recovery, and the opportunities to invest in and expand the circular economy. And 2, ensure that decision-making processes around deep sea mining are transparent, accountable, adequately account for intergenerational equity, and ensure the protection of marine biodiversity and the ocean's health. SOA has been leading a campaign to expand global and youth awareness of this wicked issue and mobilize youth voices to move the needle. YPAC has been integrally involved in these efforts through microgrants and our frontline videos. Microgrant projects have been rolled out by myself, Jeremy from the Seychelles, and Leonie from Germany. From the Cook Islands, I was able to put together a local launch of the SOA frontline documentary on deep conversations from a Cook Islands perspective. The short documentary set the scene for a panel discussion that followed on the topic of seabed mining. The panel included individuals from government, youth, and local environmental NGOs who shared their positions on what's now a fast-moving industry here in the Cook Islands. Jeremy and the Seychelles held a public discussion with representatives from government and civil societies, presenting the issue of deep seabed mining and discussing through a panel the implications of mining. The meeting was attended by key departments involved in the blue economy, including the Department of Environment, Nature Seychelles, UN Youth, Global Shapers, Seychelles Islands Foundation, and others. Leonie in Germany was able to translate SOA social media graphics and material that was developed for our seabed mining campaign into German. A social media expert has been contracted to develop a communication strategy to engage specific target audiences, including engaging youth consumers. The frontline videos developed by myself and Jeremy were videos developed for Defend the Deep, global youth mobilizing to protect the deep sea. These videos provided context for the current conversations on the state of deep sea mining in key small island developing states, the Seychelles and the Cook Islands. We continue to ramp up this work, and our concerns around this issue only continue to grow. We are now focusing on transferring awareness into mobilization. A key component of this is moving the needle politically for support and commitments. Hence, YPAC will be reaching out to our representatives and key global thought leaders to let our voices be heard, and by WOD because time is of the essence. Over the next 3 months, we hope to organise political action events to discuss a seabed mining moratorium with government officials in Indonesia, Seychelles, Cook Islands, Portugal, and Peru. Every day there is news related to the advancement of seabed mining. As we have seen with the climate crisis, ignoring negative environmental impacts or even being unaware of the environmental impacts of our under-researched area like seabed mining can have consequences beyond our lifetime. I hope you support our call for a 10-year moratorium and the voices for the future of our ocean.
I'm working on the deep seabed mining campaign with a particular focus in Southeast Asia. I've enjoyed the YPAC journey because I get to work with like-minded, young, and inspiring ocean leaders in reaching out to governments and decision makers to stop deep seabed mining. I believe that the youth has a huge role to play in making this happen.
I am working on the Blue New Deal policy campaign, and I have enjoyed the most is gathering input from you from all over the world to build a comprehensive, inclusive, and bold document to inform policymakers about the Blue New Deal.
I am working on both the Blue New Deal and the seabed mining policy campaign. I have enjoyed working on these policies because I believe that the issues highlighted in both policies, when implemented, will have a greater impact on improving the lives of both land and marine biodiversity. Thank you.
I am excited to be a member of YPAC because it provides a space where I am able to engage with like-minded people on a topic such as seabed mining, which can seem a bit daunting and disheartening at times. Being a member of YPAC also provides our small society from a small dot in the Pacific with an amplified voice to better engage with nations around the world to mobilize global action. As a member of YPAC, I have been fortunate enough to be given opportunities to increase awareness on seabed mining locally and internationally on the potential impacts and risks which tend to get glossed over.
As chair, I am both working on the Blue New Deal and seabed mining policy campaigns. I've really enjoyed listening to the ideas, perspectives, and innovation that's brought to the council from each of our members. Every day we hear about the new opportunities, the new developments that our members are going through professionally, and we always learn about the best opportunities for us to be able to re-emphasize the work that we can do to conserve our planet and to really make sure that youth voices are heard in this space.
As we move forward into the next steps of the drafting process of our Blue New Deal, we are looking for thought leaders and experts in each of our main pillars to help us refine our position. So if you consider yourself to be one of those thought leaders, or you would be kind enough to introduce one of them to our YPAC, so please email us with your name and recommendation. As a reminder, our 4 pillar areas are growing and maintaining health protected areas to preserve biodiversity, strengthening sustainable fisheries value chains, shifting carbon-intensive industries to a low-carbon future, and bolstering stakeholder engagement of natural ocean resources. We, of course, would like all of you to attend our Blue New Deal workshop happening on World Oceans Day. The event registration page is not up yet, but please scan the QR code on the screen to provide your contact information, and once the event page is up and running, we will make sure to contact you. Let's build the future for the ocean we want together.
We call for our government to honour the core purpose of our Marae Moana Act. Marae Moana is the world's largest marine park, and while it is a multi-use marine park, its core values are to protect and conserve the ecological, biodiversity and heritage values of the Cook Islands marine environment. These values should guide how our marine park is managed. The best way to do this is through a moratorium, and we need your support for that. A moratorium is pro-law, pro-science, and pro-development. We have an open letter and we're building support to move the needle from key thought leaders and influential voices. This momentum is key, especially politically. Please sign today. Gaining political momentum is critical and time is of the essence, especially as the momentum for exploitation and investment into this destructive industry is no longer just momentum. Our sea is being mined now. The Pacific Islands of Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu have made statements against this issue in 2019 that need to be joined within the region and more broadly. Please consider lending your voice.
Once again, I wanted to thank you so much for learning more about Sustainable Ocean Alliance's Youth Policy Advisory Council. I know that together we can build the ocean we need for the future we want.